o'clock, and we basically only have 20 minutes. Okay, so welcome. I think this is the last one, or one of the last. I know that I'm between you and beer and wine, so I will keep fast, so then anyone can enjoy. Okay, so today what I'm going to talk is how to migrate to Azure in basically 3 steps. Okay, so those 3 steps is something that you probably already saw it on several of those sessions, but I just want to recap because this is basically what I've been doing for the last years. And I did migrate more than a couple of thousands VMs to Azure. Okay, so my name is Marcos Nogueira. I'm a fellow Canadian MVP. So sorry, hey, to everyone. And I've been doing this for a lot of time. Okay, so I have more than 180 last time I count Microsoft certifications. Yes, it's a lot. I have a friend of mine here that they have way more than me. It's a challenge that we have between he and me. But it's my passion. It's technology and sharing that. So to talk about this, again, 3 steps. The first one is the discovery and assessment. Okay, why this is important? First of all, you have a lot of assessment tools that is available right now. Okay, so which one to pick, it's up to you. What I usually use right now a lot of the Azure Migrate. Okay, all of those tools are awesome. I'm not expert in all of them. Okay, I already use a few, but what I'm talking right now is the one that I do use a lot. Okay, and is the native tool, is the Microsoft one, the Azure Migrate. Okay, so the Azure Migrate on the part of discovery and assessment is basically the agentless discovery. Okay, does the TCO calculation for you, so it's pretty fancy regarding that. Okay, helps you right sizing for your workloads. Okay. And last but not least is built on Azure platform. So it gives you everything. Since July to this year, it was a big change on Azure Migrate. It used to be only a discovery and assessment tool. And then if you are familiar with this, you used to have, in this case, Azure Site Recovery to migrate those machines to Azure, right? So right now they did extend that part, and now Azure Migrate does everything for you. Okay? So one of the things that I like to point it out, and one of the tips that I have is the cost evaluation. By default, the price that's coming, and by default the assessment, it's based on as is. So if you have a VM that is running on-prem, the price that you will see and all the evaluation that you will see, it's based on that. So you can use this to just starting to tag a little bit more and to just use as you want it. What I like to mention here is you can use, for example, for reserve pricing. So if you have reserve pricing for your VM, you can use this assessment to see what is going to be the TCO for your workload when you're moving to the cloud. Okay? So all of that is doing. The step number 2 is, for me, one of the most critical. And I will spend a little bit more time of those 20 minutes that I have just talking about this. Why is that? First of all, you need to think about the requirements. Okay? So one of the things is the requirements that you have for IT and the requirements that you have for the business, or in this case for department. How you should program this, because remember, when you move to the cloud, everything that you move, you're paying for as well. Okay? So are you doing for IT the billing, the policies, the compliance, everything that you need to do, you need to balance. Are you taking more care of the IT part of it, or are you going more on the support? Are you doing more self-service? It's more for innovation. It's more for that department get more agility or not. Okay? This is one of the parts. Regarding the migration, and this is really important when you're planning, okay, is how you're going to do the migration. You have several ways to do it. From rehosting on basically the lift and shift, like we know, what you have on-prem, you're just bringing to Azure. From the refactor, okay, so you have minimal changes. So for example, you have an application that is a web application with SQL. Probably we are just rehost, in this case, the SQL to a central location to host the databases. We can use even PaaS for SQL. Re-architecting, so using like serverless, like Azure Functions to just doing that. Are we deploying a web app? How you want to do this? So all of these steps, it's important when you do the migration and the modernization, okay? The last one is basically rebuild the entire application cloud native. So going to 100% on SaaS, for example, okay? So here comes the part that I would like to talk about it. Is measure twice, in this case, but you're only doing it once. Dependencies. So doing the good assessment and doing the part of the assessment, it will leverage your dependencies. For example, I've been on the situation that you have a web application that somehow you discover, if you don't do a good assessment, that there is a dependency on the file server. So it's looking for a file. So you moving the application, everything is fine, works perfectly. Now you're sending to the users, and now the experience is really bad and destroys all of your good work because you just forgot to just see what dependencies that were on that application, okay? The assessment can give you that. The other thing is the opportunity to right size. Usually, our tendency, and I've been doing that for several years, is to just overcommit, right? To oversize it for our application. So usually if the application needs 4 gigs of RAM, we're giving 8, just in case, right? Or is just me that doing that? I think every single one do it. Remember, if you're doing that on the cloud, you're paying more. Right sizing, it's a good opportunity. So go back to the assessment. If you are using, instead of the as is that you have on-prem, if you're using the last 30 days, it will give you the right size, probably, or close to that. And you can even optimize, okay? So it's not that the problem. The other one is, do we have this opportunity to re-platform or to modernize? That's a good way to just do it. It's just a matter of when we are migrating that workload to Azure, that we can do that to modernize our infrastructure. So for example, if it's 2008 or 2, we know that if you're moving to Azure, you have 3 more years. But what's going to happen in those 3 years? You need to move it. So probably now is a good time to move that workload. Only if the application that is running on that server doesn't allow you to do that, and then you need to really move, because January 14 is coming very soon regarding 2008 R2, right? Another one is high availability. When you're moving this, and this is the part of the planning, is the part where you prepare your Azure for high availability. And this is where it hit me most of the times, and is one of the things that right now when I'm planning is, okay, let's prepare this. Even if you have one VM that you are migrating, one web application, one SQL server, if you are doing that, just put on availability set. Because if that server or that part, it's being updated, then you don't have downtime, okay? But you have to remember, if you move it and you don't put an availability set, the only way to just put it again on the availability set is to redeploy. What does that do? Downtime on application. So what I'm trying to do is to give my experience of thousands of VMs to just reduce your downtime. Because this is the most important. I've been successful to just migrate workloads in less than 2 minutes from on-prem just running on the cloud, fully operational. So it's really, really coming to all of these details. And last but not least, business continuity. So it's not because it's on Azure that now everything's okay and Microsoft is taking care of us. So what about Azure backup? What about backing up? What about disaster recovery to another region? There were situations that the region was offline. What's happened with that? So we need to plan for disaster. That is my secret sauce for you guys, okay? Another thing that I've been talking too much with my customers is do not rebuild on-premise structure. So if you have everything on-prem, you need to trust the cloud. Plan for disaster, okay? The good old damn DMZ, it's gone. We don't need that anymore. We have all the services on Azure that allow us to just get rid of that, okay? It's not interesting anymore. New service requires new ways to implement it. We have a lot of announcements this week, so probably it's a good thing to just thinking ahead of that, okay? Agile as much as possible regarding that, okay? Another thing is regions. What is my closest region? Why I should choose, for example, instead of East US 2? Probably is the workloads that we are running, the VMs. But if you use Azure Speed, is some of the applications, it's good to know what is the latency between your data center or head office and Azure. That could be a huge difference. So choose wisely your region. Another one is if you need multi-region, again, it depends on where your customers coming from or what your needs. You have to, depending on the customer location and the workload. Migration NDR, so target different regions. Usually what Microsoft recommends is north, south, east to west. But nothing stopping you to just going from North America to Europe if that is drastic for you, if that is really important, okay? So on step number 3 is the migrating with the workloads, okay? So what about this? Usually, I always recommend to create VNet on /16. Why is that? Because it gives you the breadth of creating subnets. Remember that if you create subnets, all the subnets accessing inside of that VNet, they automatically have access to each other. So if you create a bigger VNet, you can then slice it down to a subnet. And usually there is a lot of best practices, but really depends on your workload. One of the things that I've been seeing and I've been very successful to implement is to create a subnet by application. That's why I have over there the /27, okay? You have to remember that the 4 IPs for each subnet, it's required 4, in this case, for Azure, okay? Network security groups, I cannot mention this enough. This is one of your security. So create ACLs, create by subnet. Although, if it's really required for that specific server, and that must be very specific, then you doing for the network interface. But don't try to do on the network interface the NSGs. Otherwise, you have a lot of management to do and well documented that change. Because then, if it stops working and you don't know how, you're starting to apply subnets or NSGs to your subnet, and then doesn't work, and then you just take it off and doesn't work, and you don't know how, and probably someone apply NSG to network interface. So double check that as well. Site-to-site VPN or express route. So if you are really keen to costs and to reduce the latency, probably express route is the best way to do it. Okay? Site-to-site VPN. Right now, 2 weeks ago, they launched one of my favorite regarding networking, that is the private link. the way that you can give a private IP instead of a public endpoint, a private IP for a service that is routable inside of your VPN. Really cool, and they can locking down to that specific server, to that specific database if you want it. Check on that. I didn't have time to update those, sorry. It was announced too soon. Domain controllers. That's another thing that I see a lot of time. You are moving workloads to Azure. Azure AD will not do anything for you because it's Windows servers. Okay? So you need to have an AD site on Azure. Remember to doing that before you're migrating the workloads. Okay? Place those on the shared location that every single VNet will have access to that. Okay? So, and then this is my main slide. Test and the migration. On the test process, what I like to do is to just test a failover. It's there. It doesn't do anything on your workload that is running on-prem. Basically, when you press test failover, what it does, it creates a kind of snapshot of your VM or of your workload, just creates where you're placing those, and then you can validate a lot of things. You can validate if the workload goes to the right place. Okay? There are a lot of good practices saying that you should create a resource group by application. Just double check if that workload goes to that resource group. Double check if the workload goes to the availability set that you did create before. Just see if the application gateway is configured rightly for that application. Just validate that. It doesn't take long. It takes like probably an hour, half an hour, but will give you way more confidence when you press migrate, or you press, in this case, plan failover, to just migrate to the cloud. Will give you way more confidence, okay? Then, another thing is validate the configuration. So just double check before going. If you select the VNet that you want, the subnet that is applied to your application, okay? And so on and so forth, okay? Validate the workload. So the boot process. When you're doing the tests, one of the first things that I'm doing is I enable the boot process to see if it's coming. If my first thing that I'm doing testing to validation is to see if I see the logon screen. After that, I log on to the machine to see if all the disks are available. If all the disks are not available, just go to the Windows and just see if you have the registry key to show all of your disks. Because problem during the migration, you have 3 or 4 disks, especially on those SQL servers, that they are not coming on the same letters. And guess what? If your SQL is installing on a E drive and now the D drive, when you migrate that VM to Azure, the D drive is a temporary one. It's no longer your D drive on-prem. So now probably that disk is the E drive. And now when you open the VM and you try to open SQL, it doesn't give you an error, say, sorry, but I don't find my directory path. The reason why is they did change that. Or did you address it, or you just deploy the registry key on your VM on-prem before you migrate to just locate all of that. Okay? Another thing is validate if the application runs, of course. Migration. When you do the migration, don't forget to assign an IP or a static IP. This sounds very basic, but a lot of the things that they don't do that, and now they have a dynamic IP. And when you're doing the patching or something like that, the IP becomes unavailable, or change the IP, and now your application stops working. And it's not only that. If you have load balancers and application gateways, it's a problem that you have to address. So static IP. Just add for a good practice, Azure Backup. After the migration, create a script. You can even do that by script, by a documentation, just to do the steps. Add to Azure Backup It's fairly simple. You can do it really fast. And additional steps, at least add to the patch management, add to the disaster recovery, okay? One of my final PowerPoints is security, okay? A lot of the machines that you are doing, you just have public IP, especially on domain controllers. I cannot enumerate enough time that I went to some customers when I arriving, and domain controllers have public IP, okay? Just remove it. Utilize jumpbox, bastion OS, Azure policies, MFA. I cannot just say enough about MFA about that, and Security Center. Just-in-time access is one of the best tools that you can secure that. Keep in mind that backup in DR is still needed. It's not because it's on the cloud that you don't need backup in DR, okay? It's still needed. Even if it's Microsoft or third party, it doesn't matter. Just back up your VMs, even on Azure, and use disaster recovery, okay? Recovery Vault creates that to just use either the local or the geographic. It depends on your characteristics. Availability sets, we already talked about that. Premium disks, although this is an easy one, because after you move, you say, oh, I forgot to address the disks. So now you can come and you can change the disks. But if you have not managed disks, that's going to be the problem for you, okay? So, and this is one of the things. The foundation is your partner. Choose well your partner, okay? I just put partner there because just choose well the partner of your confidence, okay? This is literally the last slide is include your users. I've been very successful because I apply all of this. I apply my users. I use this opportunity to educate them, to explain a little bit more, to evangelize the cloud, and to involve the users on the project, specifically on the testing and validating the applications. Because we can be very knowledgeable, on our technology, but there is tons of applications that I'm not aware of that. So involving them, it's one of the key successful for doing a good migration, okay? So my time is up. Thank you very much, okay? So here is my contacts. Feel free to contact me, to grab it. I will be around for the rest of the conference. And please do not forget to evaluate. And here is the code that you can find this session on the tech community. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your Ignites.